right.
Okay.
Alaya, did you straighten this up, brother? All right.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Perfect, all right.
All right.
Shalom, shalom. We have brothers of the Great Millstone, branch in Chicago, with the honored guest, Apostle Rakar.
Shalom.
And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory
To Yahweh,
Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, B'Kakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders. Salutations to all our fellow laborers out there that's doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, the would-be judges, the 144,000 Tabernacle of David, ordained to be the ruling class government, the ruling class people here on earth, under the authority of who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC. His name is Yahushua. Always has been, always will be. Right? And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. This is an Israelite thing. All right? And to the few Akwaf, the sisters that are listening and learning, as Elder Uriah would say, all three of them. No, but to the few sisters that are listening, and we say shalom. All right? And hey, we just joyfully, Esau is crashing out and he's losing. All right? It's just calamity after calamity after calamity. And it seems like there's this information war because Iran keeps putting out this information about what's going on in Western Asia. And that America is counteracting, by saying it's not happening. And usually when they do that, Iran then produces videos, receipts of the information that America is denying has happened. So right now, a matter of fact, let's get Habakkuk 2:6 first before we jump off. And if the apostle,
In the spirit, when the spirit
Okay.
hit me, I'll jump in there.
Come on. Habakkuk 2:1.
Yes, sir. I got 2:1. Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
And that's where we are. The prophecies are speaking and not lying. We're now living in that time. This is a great time to be alive, man. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard as it's getting for us collectively as a people. And Esau, Edom is struggling. There's videos of them crying, hooping, and hollering, all day, every day. I was watching a video which I plan on doing a lesson on, where these Edomites are literally like arguing to the point where they want to pay each other visits. Because they're in right. I'm coming to see you about this, but they're arguing about supporting Trump and not supporting Trump, and they have a horrible case of cognitive denialism, because the receipts about the Epstein files, which they want to make go away so bad. This is the whole reason why Operation Operation Epic Fury.
Epic Fury.
They call it Operation Epic Fury, but it's really Operation Epstein Fury. All right. And now there's a video where they've released evidence of Cash Patel's involvement and his conversations with Epstein as well to the whole world. So Esau they ousting each other, they're arguing and they're fighting, and they're all in denial of the truth and what is happening. All right. And the fact that Esau Edom is actually losing this current war, this illegal war that Trump started, right? Okay. Which he was told to by his handler, B.B. Milkowski, who we still think is dead. No, he ain't surfaced yet. Right. You haven't actually seen him speak it. And for a man, he loves the camera just like Trump. He's always being seen and talking and walking around in his suits, and spewing some nonsense about some weapons that don't exist, about a threat that don't exist, and getting everybody to go to war, all right, over things that never really happened. But the latest thing is is that, you know, now that everybody's being drawn to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, we'll get that. Someone can grab that.
Man, I'm sorry to cut you. I just want to throw a scripture out there. I'm going to quote it, but if a brother it ties right in. If Satan be divided against Satan, how then shall his kingdom stand? And in that time, it ties right into what the elders going into, man. These devils, even the elites, you know, the elite bankers, you know, the dudes those are the real dudes that's giving Trump and all these other dudes their orders. The Illuminati, which they stole that.
Right.
Now, a lot of the dudes, which we don't care no more, scoffers, whatever. Realistically, we're the real Illuminati. What does the word Illuminati mean? And then you young brothers know? Enlightened ones.
That's right.
What Esau did, that's Bizarro Superman. He took everything, yeah, right?
And everything was good and corrupted it.
They took everything and that was righteous, and see the Illuminati. See, you guys saying, see, y'all sold out. No, dummy. If you really understood, you would know we're the real enlightened ones. The chief cornerstone is Yahushua. That all that stuff that they doing on the left hand side, the Masons and the Masonry and all that, really that comes from the Yahushua, the right hand side. See, but they took it on the wicked side and just doing it wickedly. You see, that's why I call them Bizarro Superman.
Right.
When I was growing up, they had the cartoon, the Super Friends, right? And you had Superman, right? Which Superman is supposed to represent Yahushua, Kal-El, meaning what? All power, right? And what was his father's name?
Jarrell.
Yeah. What does that mean? Right? The power, like the power.
Yeah.
The power.
Basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
You understand?
The
Yeah,
power.
never knew that.
Yeah, like the power. Kal-El's, you see what I'm saying? And the scriptures say, the Most High, Yahweh, gave all power unto Yahushua. Right? That happened when Yahushua went on the cross. Man, that was that. That had to be boom. You see, but Esau, that's why they came up with all that. All them cartoons and superhero characters and shit.
Yeah. Stan Lee admitted that all the Marvel. So I never really was a DC guy. I was a Marvel guy when I was young. But Stan Lee admitted that all the Marvel characters were inspired by the Bible.
So,
or the majority of them anyway.
Yep, cut.
But you know, before you read it, I just want to read the scripture he quoted.
Okay.
This is Mark 3:23. And he called them unto himself and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house, meaning a race of people, be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan shall rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end.
So yeah, you know, this man here, he, like I said, his lives are starting to run together. He can't keep them straight. It's all falling apart all at the same time, you know. And then when he tells, even when he inadvertently tells the truth, that's scripture as well. Okay, because that's Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
That's what I was thinking about.
All that see them shall flee away. So this man, so busy, he can't keep his lies straight. So the little bit of truth that's wound up being mixed in it is telling on him in the process.
Well, you know what that goes back to as well? Back in the days, when we used to do those videos and teach at the camp about the Illuminati and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all them folks. Back in the days, right? And we used to sit and watch those videos, which I know certain brothers, I know Apostle Tahar still got all those videos, you know, other apostles, and I know a certain other brothers, remember this VHS?
Oh, wow.
Cassettes and shit, when we had VCRs, right?
Yeah, VCR, yeah.
This was back in the 90s, right? And we would sit up all night long, bro. We was heavy into it, studying this information, right? We would sit up, man, Apostle Tahar, the bar, myself, we would sit up all night watching the videos. They had this one video, Man, if y'all haven't, man, there was so many videos. And I know Apostle Tahar still got all those old VHS cassettes. It's hard to find a VHS.
Yeah, I still have a few myself.
God, you still got that, right?
I got a few of those Budo, those early '90s jiu-jitsu videos. Still on VHS, yeah.
Right.
The early UFC.
Yeah.
Hoist Gracie and all that shit, man. But there was one video, Millennium 2000, they called it. You know, another Lucifer 2000, the Capitalist Conspiracy. These are bad videos. The Panama Deception. So
Kind of heard it out.
yeah, Panama Deception, and then there was another, the Clinton Chronicles, bringing out all the wickedness that Bill and Hillary Clinton was doing over there in Arkansas, having people put to death and all the different women.
They do call it Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
So she make one of them phone calls and make it look like an accident.
Yeah, that's a wicked,
right.
What's one of her comments that she liked to say? We came, we saw, we killed.
Ooh,
They
this
said we
one.
came, we saw him, he died.
Yeah,
And then she laughed.
And she laughed at it.
Yeah, the Panama Deception. I remember when all that shit was going on. When they went down and going after so-called, was it Noriega?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
All on false pretenses.
all on false pretenses.
Same as Vietnam.
Same
as Iraq. There were never any wars of mass destruction.
Same as Gaddafi.
John Ritter makes he makes videos and it reminds you that all the time. Gaddafi. All right.
Oh, Gaddafi.
You know, and Saddam Hussein, saying all based upon false pretenses, man.
Yeah, man. But they was now remember Panama. Those are you got Edomites down there too, right? Esau's everywhere, but Jake, that's predominantly Israelite country. You know, Zebulon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I got a brother that's from there.
Then they went down there when they went after Panama, and that video came out. We did a video, the Panama Deception. Them devils went down there and they had technology. They were using laser beams. Jake. They were killing the Jake Panamanians, like the so-called cracker Panamanians, the Edomites. They was safe. They didn't go after them.
Yeah, it went after the brown people.
The brown people using like man, it was just all kind of goddamn wickedness they was doing. They found the cars melted. Like these motherfuckers, they were using laser beams. That technology putting Jake sent the military down there. See, so. But there were other Edomites, like all those videos I mentioned, those are old documentaries, right? Like you had this dude, Jordan Maxwell, Anthony Hilda, Terry Cook. These are Edomites, right? These Edomites were sitting up there in these videos we were watching, and they were, the Illuminati, yes, the Illuminati. But they were going in because we were getting information from these devils.
And Jordan Maxwell videos are still all over YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram to this day. And, you know, and it was, you know, we learned about Jordan Maxwell through the apostles.
Yep. Eustace Mullins.
And Eustace Mullins, yeah. I got a couple of his books. And Elder Taz. Elder Bishop Taz, you know. He quotes Eustace Mullins a lot. All right. But this is Isaiah 14:10. And it reads, "And they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials, and the worms are spread under thee, and worms cover thee." So it's death upon Edom, and and it's happening to their soldiers. A lot more death happening as a result of this war over there, you know, in the Western Asia. Now Yemen has joined in on it, and what's being said, and what America is denying, which I don't believe that it's a lie. But was it 50 Delta Force soldiers? But Iranian TV is basically been showing you the names and faces and ranks of these soldiers.
Damn.
All right, and then while America's saying it didn't happen, but if you know, and then they had this quote to say, "We are not Venezuela." 5 words. And so basically, everyone was talking about how they came in like a flood and this, that, and the other, and swift as an eagle, and they did this and had everybody thrown up and bleeding out the nose and mouth. Well, clearly that shit did not work with Iran, and they've captured all of these Delta Force soldiers, and I believe it to be true, though Esau is trying to deny it. But you know, you got a scripture or you got the video.
I got the video.
All right, let's see what the.
Do you remember that other incident? Esau, man, like, look, Esau, like with his special forces and the Navy SEALs and all these. Okay, yeah, you bad, yeah. The Lord gave you that. Remember, that was part of the blessing of Esau, the sword, right? So yeah, you Edomites, yeah, y'all can fight, right? This, that, and the third. Remember the other incident in Africa years ago? They did a movie about it.
Their greatest fighting forces are the ones when they use Jake anyway.
Yeah, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
Which
was a really good movie, the Black Hawk Down. But once again, what really made Esau great was the Jakes that fought for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and bringing Jake into their armies and then using Jake tactics. They still use Gadite, Reubenite tactics to this day. They even named many of the weapons after, you know, Gadite names.
Apache
helicopters. Right, the Apache helicopter, the Tomahawk missiles.
Yep, Tomahawk
missiles. It's so many others, man.
Right.
Well, Elder,
right.
My father and my uncles were all special forces. Reubenites from the swamps of Florida. And my father was a scout, a tunnel rat in Vietnam.
God.
You see, so these devils, and they tell you, we learned this from, well, Pops, you know, certain brothers was in the military, they tell you that.
Well, guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
They learned that from Jake, man. How, you know, Jake would you know, use the surroundings. They would use the dust and then the mud and paint and cover themselves, and they would look like they surrounded and blend in it. And then, you know, you just go marching through there, and all of a sudden the trees came alive and took your ass like the Terminator. All right? Well, she said the trees took them.
Yeah.
The trees took them.
That was Predator.
All right, Predator. Right. Yeah, Predator. Right.
The jungle just came alive and took him.
Mm-hmm.
A little cute, I guess.
He had that light bending fucking
But basically he was camouflage.
Exactly.
That's the point. He was camouflage, and that's what, you know. And Jake was masters of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Looking like ghosts. Like I said, they showed you that in that fucking Long Ranger movie. Johnny Depp put that white face on. He'll look like a ghost in the middle of the night at 4 o'clock in the morning coming at your ass.
Mm-hmm. But he's a Gadite.
Yeah, he was Gadite. Yeah, he's Gadite for real.
Yeah, he's a Gadite. Yeah.
Okay, you got any more scriptures you want, sir?
Actually, I wanted him to play. You just, you know, if you would play it. But but Iran, every time America denies something, it seems that Iran produces receipts that say otherwise. So basically, you really are having a mad information war, and this has never happened before. Because you go back to World War II, Vietnam, American media completely controlled the narrative. Yeah. Even they controlled the narrative in the Desert Storm and all that stuff. You know, after 9/11, and then all of a sudden, what happened? What came after that?
The internet.
These. These.
Right.
And see, this is a problem, because with these, that's like we're recording on one. We're recording on them. Information can pass faster from that to this. Uncensored. All right? It hasn't been J-ish screen checked.
Right.
Or verbiage checked by the J-ish.
Right.
All right? You can't say that. You can't say this. And so what happens is that the people on the ground in these places, they're recording. They're sending the messages out or sending the imagery out. And then people see these imageries and they run with it. Hey. Now, they may not have all the facts right, but they can see the images and see the imagery, and then the mainstream media will get, and I think that's another reason why they created AI. AI was created for multiple purposes. And one of the purposes that AI was created for is to deceive. And then so they created AI and start using AI videos, and then what they will do, and listen to me closely, they would use, when something is so damaging and resisting to the narrative that the mainstream wants pushed or moved, they want a specific narrative to move, they'll put out a AI video that's false on purpose. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yep.
They put out fake videos on purpose, and then they'll show you that it's fake to get people to disbelieve in the truth.
Contaminate the water.
They can exactly. So they use it both sides. So if something is true, they'll say that that's AI, and then they'll show you AI that's false and say that it's real. All right.
Wow.
So what's that scripture? Woe unto them that say good is evil and evil is good. They're using AI in that way as a weapon, man. So they'll take true information and say that it's AI, and then take false information and say that it's actually real. And Esau is doing this, and he's doing it purposely. All right, if you get that scripture, then you could play some of that video about the shot.
Okay. Let's see. Right here.
I'll find it, brother.
Yeah, that AI shit, man. If I may say, while I'm looking for that scripture, that's also a part of his witchcraft. You know, because they can make videos. They can make videos of us if they wanted to.
Oh, they
Come.
got you.
And I'm sure they will.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
probably got some on deck waiting to go.
That's right.
They got enough sound bites of our voices.
Come.
That's it.
All right, so this easy to go back through. At this point, I've got thousands of videos. He's probably got tens of thousands of videos.
Yeah.
So they got plenty of. They can just go through the videos and put together a whole speech,
Yeah.
and it's our actual voices.
It's us.
So and they'll use AI to do it.
Make us look bad. Show us doing some crazy shit.
Right, posing with guns and
Right.
grenades and shit or whatever.
Okay.
Making threats.
Right.
I got it for you.
Kind of.
This is Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Kind. Said warn to them.
Yeah.
All right, so they're going to use truth as a weapon, and they're going to use lies as a weapon. Okay, understand? All right, if you could play some of that video, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You don't have to show it. Just
Okay.
play it. This.
Yep.
Turn it up, brother. Loud.
Well, it's speaking in
You got one that's English spoken.
nah, it just has subtitles. That's why I wanted to put
You know
it up.
what? I think I might have one. Let me hold on.
Con.
Let me look.
And that's the spirit what the elder told you. Don't show it, because I learned this. That's why, like, when you done video,
Get copyrighted.
they'll cut the video, copyright in front of a couple of days. They might not cut it today, but like
Couple days down the road.
Tuesday, you get the shit. Oh yeah, your video. This man, they're doing everything they could do to try to,
Yeah.
you know, because they're scared.
Oh God.
The images are out of Iranian custody. More than 50 operators from the United States Delta Force have been captured in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state media published their photographs. Their names, ranks, and unit designations appeared on screen for the entire.
That's what he was playing. But the guy was speaking, and they're showing their faces, their names, and their ranks.
Wow.
So that you understand, they're showing details.
Yeah.
And then America's trying to say this is not real, but you probably could Google some of these faces and find these soldiers.
Yep.
You see?
That's it.
All right. So let me. So let me just take it back now.
The images are out of Iranian custody. More than 50 operators from the United States Delta Force have been captured in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state media published their photographs. Their names, ranks, and unit designations appeared on screen for the entire world to read. And the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps spokesperson looked directly into the camera and said 5 words that cut through every official narrative that Washington has been constructing for weeks. Iran, he said, is not Venezuela. That statement deserves to be held in full view before we continue, because it is not a military communique. It is a geopolitical message precisely calibrated, delivered at the exact moment when the scale of American losses in this conflict is becoming impossible for official channels to manage. Iran is telling
It's
Washington
becoming impossible for them to manage, mean to keep suppressed.
That's it.
All right. The losses of America, like the 13 ships that have been destroyed or damaged so severely they can't be used anymore.
Right.
And who's done that? The Iranians and the Houthis. The Yemens have the other side up by the Red Sea. All right, and then the Iranians had the Straits of Hormuz. You know, and they got it on lock. And they're tearing up you know, and they're tearing. I think the Houthis yesterday or the day before fired like 300 something missiles into Israel, into Tel Aviv. All right, and so destruction is going on, and they're trying to downplay it like it's not happening.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Like only people receiving damage is Iran, and that's a lie.
Bullshit.
I got scripture for you.
I'm sorry, let me
Washington the world that this theater of war operates by different rules than the ones the United States chose to apply in Caracas. There will be no extraction of Iranian leadership. There will be no 30-minute operation that ends with a head of state in handcuffs on an aircraft carrier. What there will be is American soldiers in Iranian custody, displayed publicly, their identities confirmed, their capture serving as the most tangible proof, yet that something in the strategic architecture of this war has gone badly wrong.
May I say this, man?
Go
May I
ahead.
say this? See, now, he mentioned the theater of war. This, Apostle Tahas is going to this. They did a movie that came out years ago. You might be ahead of me, Pops. You might know it. Wag the Dog.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I learned about that movie from Elder Gabar,
Yeah.
from
man.
Apostle Elder Gabar,
Yeah.
and I watched it, and it was a hell of a movie, and it completely made sense why he uses that movie as a talking point as to what goes on here in America and around the world under the authority of these Edomites.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
And
A few
what's,
other folks was in
and what's her
there.
name? The little blonde chick that was in Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Dakota Fanning's sister.
right.
What's her name? Well, we already said
Okay.
But yeah,
whatever her name is.
Right.
That little blonde chick.
Right.
Wag the Dog. Brothers need to watch that movie. That's what I'm telling brothers.
It's a good movie too.
Brothers got to start watching certain movies. It was all about the theater of war. They had to generate, that's what's going on. Really, a lot of Americans are getting jacked up, but they got to switch the narrative. It's the propaganda machine, man.
Right.
Yeah, and make it seem like America's not sustaining damage, and they're sustaining not only major damage, plus not and politically, physically, and especially economically. Because what he said when they sent that message and said this will not be a 30-minute operation, and I will end with Iranian individuals, leaders being taken captive and put on aircraft carriers. They were alluding to this operation that they bragged about in Venezuela.
Right.
How they rolled in and 20 men killed 300 soldiers, used this high-tech stuff on them, took the president, tore shit up, and then left like some pimps.
Right.
All right? And what they're telling you is that ain't gonna fly over here. It's not gonna work, and it didn't work. Instead, what's happening is we're putting up 50 of your soldiers' faces on the national TV with their identities proven, showing you that it's true. And yet you got the media right now as we're speaking. There's articles denying it. You got one of them articles denying it, brother? Did you see a couple? Big Rube?
I got a scripture why you get that.
Go ahead.
This is John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do.
Now, hold on, Pops. I gotta help break that down. Not that y'all don't know, but back in the days, once again, motherfuckers always talking about where does it say, jicks, stupid jicks, right? 2/3. Where does it say that where in the Bible that say the white man is the devil? Right there, the brother got the scripture right there. Because right there, that scripture, Yahweh Shai, he was talking to wicked Israelites, but realistically, if the spirit is with you, that scripture is really self-explanatory.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's like the onion being multi-layered. This is that. Okay, ye are of your father the devil, the lust of your father ye will do.
Now check this out. Remember when Yahweh Shai first came on the scene? He said, "You're your daddy. That's your daddy. Wicked niggas, right?"
Right.
But Yahweh Shai said that to them. Damn, I wish I could remember what it's good. Matthew's, where them wicked, evil Pharisees,
Sadducees.
yeah, they reasoned amongst themselves when Yahweh Shai first came on the scene, and they said, yo, should we believe on him? Should we believe on him, right? The point's gonna be there. And they were like, nah, we can't do that, because if we do, the Romans
We'll take out basically.
will come and take away all that we have. So when Yahweh Shai said this, those are precepts. So when Yahweh Shai, I wish I could remember what that scripture is. I know it's in the New Testament. When Babakushah, Abu Ratzah, The reason I'm making that point is because they said, nah, we do, the Romans will come and take away all we have. Because them dudes are doing good. They took the bag, they sold out.
Right.
They had nice houses, they had the women, they had it all, right?
Yeah.
The Romans, who were the Romans? Them same Edomites that's in power now, the same folks, right? So what Pops was reading there in John 8:44, Yahushua is calling the white man the devil. Ye are of your father, the devil. Who was he talking about? Some dude under the ground with a red suit on and a pitchfork?
No.
You got some dumb people that will believe that. That dude don't exist.
I found it, Apostle.
Oh,
If you want
for
to
water.
read
Read it.
This is I started this is John 11, and I'll start at verse 45 just to get a little more content. But it says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. But some of them went their way to the Pharisees and told them the things which Yahushua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. So they are aware of it and knew it. Even believed it themselves. All right? If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
There you go.
Right.
Because there were garrisons set up in Jerusalem. Because at that time we were under the Romans, right? Because they was in power. Who are Edomites? We know that. I don't know if all those folks back then, Yahushua knew, and the 12 knew who the Romans were. I'm going to tell you right now, that, going back to Apops, you can pick back up. Your father, the devil. You can pick back up, Pop, with the water, brother. The water.
Okay. I'm gonna got one to line back off of what the Elder Malcolm just read. This is John 12 and 19. Let me see. Okay. The people, I'm gonna start at 17. The people, therefore, that was with him when he called Lazarus out of his grave and raised him up from the dead, bear record. For this cause, the people also met him, for that they heard that he had done this miracle. The Pharisees therefore said among themselves, perceive how ye prevail nothing. Behold, the world is gone after them. So perceive how ye prevail. When you look up that word prevail, it goes back to the Greek word, and it basically means pay. So perceive how ye pay nothing. Behold, the world is gone after him. So they was losing their power structure. They was losing their money. They was losing their position of authority in that, because what did Yahushua say? If you believe not me, believe for the work's sake.
That proves that the world is talking about Israel too, and not the whole world.
Exactly. That's the point.
That's something that Christians don't get. It's different, types of worlds. But
I'm gonna go back to that John 8:44 though, and that John 8:44 goes here and says this: ye are of your father the devil.
The devil, the same devil that this video is about.
It's the same one that's called Lucifer in Isaiah 14 chapter. Okay. And the lust of your father ye will do.
The lust of your father you will do. What's his lust? Read on.
Like, he was a murderer from the beginning.
Going back to Cain.
Going back to Cain. Yep, exactly. Going back to Cain. But Cain got that mark. Which was the mark? Leprosy. Okay, he got the mark of leprosy. And when Esau was born, that was the first pure, clean leper born.
Yeah.
Okay?
He was born that way. Cain was a man of color that got trends. Yeah, like Michael Jackson said, I changed. I changed when they did that interview with Michael years ago. And then Elon was interviewing him. He said, he said, but Michael, come on, man, you're a kid. You look different. You look, I changed.
Right.
I changed.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Esau, well, not Esau, Cain. Well, yeah, I guess so.
Right.
It's the same dude.
It's the same spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there was no truth in him. And what these people don't understand, because they say, well, you talked about a particular man, but like that movie with Denzel Washington, where it talks about how the devil was jumping from person to person. Falling, exactly. Like I said, there are many demons, and all these demons take on that, and it all still goes back to this Edomite. And in general, unrighteousness in the world as it is. Because even 2/3 has got demons on them that won't let them live in righteousness. Okay? We got demons on us, but we recognize those in the process and deal accordingly.
And then we just call on the name of Yahweh.
There you go.
And rebuke them.
And rebuke them.
And in that name, they have to obey.
Come.
Right?
Right. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there was no truth in him. Where he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, where he is a liar and the father of it.
This proves that the term that and what I've done so many videos on, Esau, he projects.
Yep.
All right, he's always projecting when he say, we're looking for the criminal and the terrorists and the horrible people that harm and blah 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 blah.
Look in the mirror, nigga.
He's talking about himself.
Look in the mirror.
Right. All them videos with Trump, we're gonna seek out the evil and destroy evil, whatever it is, and those terrorists that blah blah blah, Reagan and other. You projecting. That's you, nigga. You talking about you. You. That's you.
May I say this, man? I gotta say this. Now I do a lot of videos, right? Which rightfully so. There's plenty of scriptures on that. Getting on Jake, right? Because we're supposed to, right? Israel, the 2/3 of Israel, right? But lately, I've been like Sam Cooke said, bring it on home.
Right.
Right. Bring it on home to me, yeah. Right. You can get as mad as you want to at the 2/3, right? The scriptures talk about that. But who's the cause of that shit? The reason Jake is so fucked up and dysfunctional, I'm talking about the 2/3, the tribes, right? Esau, but then now, right, like, okay, but then it comes to a thing of understanding, right? He's a devil like that. He'll do something, he'll fuck you up. And it's, oh shit, hey man, you all right? You okay?
Point the finger.
Hey man, you sure? But he the one that fucking hit you in the head with a goddamn a bat. Bow.
Right.
But, hey man, hey, I'm grab. Hey, you okay?
Right.
You all right?
He just hit you with his car. He hopping out like.
Are you okay?
Yeah. So this devil, right? He's the one. Well, remember, he's the author of confusion, right? He's the one. Okay, the reason we got Jake acting, these Jakes of the tribes acting the way they act. Okay, we can say that, right? It's a generational curse, which it is a curse, but that's Deuteronomy 28. But anyways, the Lord did do it. Overall, the Most High, Yahweh did it. But remember, he's the minister of the Lord to do evil, right?
Right.
Come on, Esau. But on the surface level, here on the earth, in this flesh, these Jakes are all messed up, right? And we got switches and Big Shirley and Pookie, Ray Ray, these niggas acting dysfunctional and doing what they do. Okay, I get it. And then they said, oh, black fatigue. We tired of these niggas. We've been had black fatigue, right? But anyways,
John,
we've been had black fatigue, right?
Hey, I had black fatigue when I was in my 30s. That was 30 years ago.
I had black fatigue, ninja fatigue before the truth.
What they call? Oh yeah, me too.
I stopped messing with the ninja woman before the truth.
Yeah, man, that's some real talk.
Before the truth.
So you know what? I get tired of them. Well, we'll get there. But I want to stay on the topic, Esau, right? Who caused all of that, though? Who caused it? Esau.
Yeah.
Why? Because let's just keep it fucking real. Okay, these Jakes are acting all dysfunctional and stupid. Let's go back to the late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, shit.
The government, right? The so-called liberal party, all them folks, right? Well, they all devils. They're Democrat, Republicans, whether you're an independent, F you all, man. You all devils. That's all a part of Odo Abkeo. But they did that, right? Like the late 60s, going into the early 70s, they came up with the whole so-called welfare system,
Yeah.
right? And that's like the ninja woman, as the elder mentioned, right?
Right. Hey.
Which that stemmed off of the what's that? The feminist movement,
Yeah, all that was jumped off at about the same time, like you said. That.
and that was for the white woman.
Yep.
The feminist movement wasn't created for the black woman, or the Hispanic, or Native American woman. That was created for the white woman, right? Because they were causing confusion even amongst themselves, right? So them so-called liberal white women became feminists. That was back way in the days, right?
Yeah. What was her name? Stein, Burning Bras,
Yeah.
and all that other shit.
They became feminists to come against the Edomite man. That was a movement just to bring confusion, right? Because the Lord set it up to destroy the society. So, whatever. So, like around the 60s, going into the 70s,
Yeah.
and in the 80s, it was in full swing.
Yep.
But really, like around the time I was born, the early 70s, they got the black woman on board with that shit,
Yeah.
right? And they used the liberal lesbian white woman to do it,
Come on.
getting ahead of the black woman, right? To see that was the beginning of the end of the so-called black family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the first fruits of that.
That was the first fruits of that,
Yeah,
man.
we were among the first fruits of that. People that are in their mid, people in their 50s to their early 60s were the first fruits of that.
Huh?
Come on.
Because like you said, mid 60s going into the 70s, full swing by the 80s, man. Because
Yeah.
most people that grew up, I would say probably, and it got worse and worse.
I'm in the middle of that. I saw that.
But by the time you were still young, you still saw it too. But
Yeah.
but most of my friends that I grew up with, not all of us, but the majority of us grew up in one parent household.
Come on.
It was only a few of us that had both their mom and dad at home.
Yeah.
All right, the majority, and then by the time you got to the 80s, to the 90s and the 2000s,
it was over.
it was over. It was a wrap. Everybody,
Yeah, that was the norm.
and then the old hoes taught the new hoes how
I
to
be hoes.
and taught them, now you know what, you're gonna even do more because you're gonna have multiple children from different men.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get checks from all of them.
different,
And you're gonna get to use the system. So a lot of women, would have babies purposely and to just so they could get checks and get more money. Right? They would purposely have children.
Yeah.
All right.
One of my women got a daughter. This got 8 fucking kids.
Well, brother, that's the norm now.
8 fucking kids. She wanted 10. That's what she was after. She wanted 10 fucking kids.
And Esau,
Are they all from the same father? I
Father?
doubt it.
No.
oh, you know damn well.
Yeah,
they
I know a
not.
Mexican chick that's got 8 children.
You know
and every
damn
one of
well.
them is from a different father.
These women,
So, it's Northern Kingdom doing that shit too, man.
of course. It's all of them because the North. Now, see, this is the thing. The Northern Kingdom women, when they started coming to America, whether they be Puerto Rican, Mexican, the other tribes, they followed the black woman.
Yeah.
The
same.
Judah is their tribe. So even in wickedness,
They go follow fucking head tribe. And the shit they do.
all that shit they talk about Judah, right? And I'm from the Northern Kingdom, but I know. But the so-called white man, haven't said that in a while, right?
The so-called
Right? He is the father of all that.
Yeah.
father lies.
Apostle, let me find something for you.
Baba Kushah.
Let me find it. You just brought it back to memory. I watched it on the way to the dojo earlier. Let me find it so it's not on this one.
That's why when that time comes,
And
when the Lord really raised us up, Esau gonna wish he was never fucking born.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he wish he wasn't born now on some level because he used to be proud of that manifest destiny that he had.
Yeah.
Now he wants to, and what they say.
He's ashamed and he wants to bury it.
Yeah. They shall be ashamed of an ungodly father.
Yeah.
Okay. Complain of an ungodly father. This is where they at now. So
Found it.
when they put all that stuff down, and Trump was talking about how I don't see why we have to pull our history down like that. But now they don't. He didn't want to pull the statues and shit down. But now guess what? You don't want what those statues was built behind taught even in the schools.
Well, hold on, I'm sorry to cut you. You want to pull down we're going to pull down these racist statues. I tell you what, if you want to do right by the tribes, then give us our fucking land back and y'all get the fuck out of here.
Well, they ain't doing that shit.
You understand
Yeah,
what
that
I'm
means you
saying?
got to give back the land, all the
generational wealth that came
all
with
the
it.
generational wealth that you've collected for it. You empty your bank account. You're not gonna do that, are you? You got to everything that you have. You've got, you know, by ill-gotten. Everything they have is ill-gotten gains. But
Great.
I found a video, brother, and I actually intended on doing a lesson on that. I guess it's gonna be now.
Okay.
But it's a 6-minute video. We just played maybe a minute or two. But just listen to what the brother is saying. And it's clear to me that he's been watching our videos.
Okay.
The civilian.
Most of our problems are all linked to one source. I mean, just name a problem. Name any problem you got, right? I ain't got no money. Alright. So, where is the United States money going? It all leads back to one place. Everything wrong in this country all leads back to one location, one source, one circle. You know, you and I are fighting over Democrat, Republican. Why? Because of the news. Because of media. Who owns news? Who owns media? Max. Back to that one source.
He always-
Back to that one source.
Smack himself on the head.
You know, our younger people are heavily influenced with the negative teachings of hip hop. Negative, man. Who owns the music industry?
Ugh, you know what we talking about.
Absolutely.
Right.
So,
I gotta grab this cow.
every time we see a movie, right? They always have these stereotypes. The Latino is the gangbanger. The black person is the stupid thug. The white person is the racist. Who owns these television shows? Who owns these movies? Right back.
The Native American is the
Same,
drunk,
same circle.
Con.
the drunk Indian.
Man, I have seen on this app people calling black people the hard R. White people call them names, call Latinos names. Video be like 1,000 likes. You know what I'm saying? But who can't you say anything about? Anything. Even if it's 100% true. Can you not speak on?
So we'll stop it right there.
He gonna beat himself.
So
He gonna give himself a migraine.
So we know exactly.
Where you getting at?
Right, you can call niggas, you can call them spicks, you can call them beaners, you can call them
He was doing
tomahawks,
this.
you can call them, you know. But the point is, though, yeah, he was doing this.
Right.
But the point is, everybody knows without saying who that is.
He in that ass word.
We all know, all right? The JOOs, the little hats, the Israelites over there in the land of is not real.
Miles.
Everybody knows, man. Even so-called white people. Everybody's fed up with them.
Curly locks.
All right? And they have successfully drawn. They've you know get that
Shall be drawn out.
yeah they're
At least.
the least of the flock shall draw them out. I think there's Jeremiah.
Yes, sir.
They successfully
Yes, sir.
drawn out everyone, and they successfully pillaged and picked your pocket with a smile on their face.
Oh, hell yeah.
With a smile on their face, they rob you blind. Or they're clever. They get you just to make payments, and they benefit from those payments.
Remember the other night we did a video here with which you are the expert on this, like Jordan expert on this to say, right? Child support.
Oh, yes. Title 4D is so crooked. And yes, that was a JOO inventions. It was Jewish lawyers who put all that fraud together. They did it to get around the law, to get around the American laws. Because according to this right here, let me go to the receipt. Let me pull it up. Just bear with me for a second.
Because you know what the scriptures say, right? That's in the law. That's in our law.
Yeah.
If a woman is with you and she leaves with nothing. So alimony, child support is completely freaking wicked. Well, now, yes, the scriptures do say a man that don't take care of his family is worse than an infidel, right? But with that being said, in the ancient world, if your woman didn't want to be with you no more, y'all was going to break up, your kids stayed with you.
Right.
And her ass left.
Right.
So you were taking care of your kids anyway. You dig? That bitch left.
Right. You just went out and got another woman.
Yeah.
And more women, and there it is. But you know, they made themselves guilty because in 1983, Ronald Reagan made the statement. As a matter of fact, it's called Declaration 5018. Declaration Proclamation 5018. And it basically states that the King James Bible, right? The King James Bible is the law of the land, the ultimate law of the land. So even your president at the time, and he's one of the darling presidents that they all love. They loved Ronald Reagan.
Oh yeah.
All right. He said that the King James Bible was the law of the land, even above the Constitution.
Yeah.
He said that.
Right.
Reagan.
All right. Reagan said that. All right. Declaration Proclamation 5018. So here, and so this is out of the Black's Law Dictionary, and referring to the law of the land, and this is the Mayberry versus Madison. All right. And you've heard Apostle Ramlab and Apostle Gabar talk about the Mayberry Marbury versus Madison case law.
Okay.
All right, but it says the law of the land, the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislatures bearing the appearance of law constitutes as the law of the land, right? And the U.S. pull that door, and that the U.S. Constitution is the supreme, and the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. This is essentially stated as follows. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. All right? Marbury versus Madison is the case law to back that up. So what that means, that taxing your wages are not taxable. That violates the law of the land. When they mandate people to take shots into their bodies that's not necessarily good for your health,
Right.
even though they make claims that it is. Right? When they try to force people to do that, that's against the law of the land. And Title 4D, Title 4D child support is in complete violation of the land, and for many reasons. But the number one reason is the only reason you need is the fact that Title 4D is of a foreign entity, right? It is literally it's a foreign treaty, all right? And it's actually, did you know I'm turning your ring off, brother?
I forgot that's Canasta.
And somebody get on the phone and call Canasta, all right? Because it might be important too, brother. It's your son. But Title 4D is in violation of the Constitution. So if you are a diehard American and you believe in your rights and you believe in the truth, well, all your politicians, no politician has stood up to stop Title 4D.
Yeah.
None of them go. It's none.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, these these money-making statutes that violate the law of the land that make political people money, no one has stood up to stop any of them. So there you go. You would think that you would have governors and presidents and stuff that would be like, hold on, man, this is all wrong, okay?
Judges
And but
federal judges.
but none of them have. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's wicked as hell. And then the elder just brought out y'all brought out Ronald Reagan. He was the darling president. Everybody loved Reagan, right? I remember that. Right?
The Hollywood
I
actor.
remember when what's his face?
He sucked as an actor on top of that.
Oh, yeah, he sucked. He was
What they used to call a B-movie actor.
But anyways, the elder just brought it out. Reagan deemed that the Bible was the supreme law of the land.
Yep.
Right?
Above the Constitution.
Above the Constitution. So the Spirit had me quote in our law, the Israelite law, that if a woman go from you, yeah, there was a thing of the bill of divorcement, right? It's in there, Leviticus, right?
Yeah.
But when a woman leaves you, she leaves with nothing. It's in the scriptures, man.
So that shows you
Matter
that
of fact, let me land back and back you up, Apostle.
The water.
and that showed that the child belonged to the man because it was his seed that was planted in the first place.
Because back in those
Yeah,
days,
it is. It's really the man's line. It's his child.
yeah,
Right.
All right, but this is Jeremiah 3:1, and it reads, "They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? So if another man is gone unto this woman, that land is talking about her womb, her kitty cat. You know, it's polluted. It says, but thou hast played the harlot with many lovers."
see, it's symbolic. The scripture is symbolic of Israel because we committed adultery on the Most High. So, but the Lord's going to, through Yahushua, the Lord going to forgive us.
Right.
But you could use it as an earthly analogy with a woman.
And look at the payments that we had to make. So it said, yet return unto me again, saith the Lord. So the Lord is saying no. And when reading this, it didn't say that not only did that woman step out on you and receive seed from other men and become polluted, it said nothing about giving her restitution or paying her anything. It didn't say anything about that at all.
That's wicked as all hell. That's this devil, this so-called white man. But Esau did that to create, remember that old Masonic phrase, order with them small hats, the elites, the bankers, order have chaos, order through chaos. They want to bring about this new world. That's what all this is going on right now. The theater of war thing. They want to bring about this new world order. They want to bring it about. They want to chip everybody, which is the mark of the beast. They've been planning this shit. But in order for them to do what they do and seem justified to the world, they got to set up scenarios. They got to set up scenarios. Like we got to do this.
So
do that.
incoming false scenario, incoming wag the dog event.
Right.
All right, incoming, because that's exactly, Apostle, to go to the next stage. All right, because before,
Who's that?
I don't know. All right, brothers come in the room, turn the ringers off, man. Tell your phone on silent. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. That shit. But anyway, I'm gonna read this Amos because I was holding it. This is Amos 7:17. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. Thy land shall be divided by lying, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth in his land." So if this happened to the Lord's, the apple of his eye, okay? This happened to the apple of his eye for us going off, all right? What is he going to do to you heathen? All right? who went above and beyond. When you were supposed to stop punishing us, you didn't discontinue to do so. As a matter of fact, you didn't even let our people know who they really were. You let our people continue to be dead. You continue to suppress, oppress, and arrest our development as a people. And on top of that, you didn't even allow us to know who we were. You taught us that we were colors, that we were these made up constructs, racial constructs that you just made up. Okay, so that's going to be held to pay for the wickedness you've done, and we see it manifesting.
Right.
So now the Lord is somebody get Isaiah 34 and 5 and then 34 and 8, because the Lord, and somebody get Joel Joel 3, the valley of Jehoshaphat, because the Lord is gathering, the armies of the earth, and now they have to pay for what they've done. Edom being that primary group of people. Okay. And the other nations, you're not going to get off, because now all of a sudden, there's videos going back 10, 15 years ago with different, Arabs and Palestinians, and saying, yes, they know who we are. Yes, brothers doing videos. Hey, so who did you do? What did you say? What you said again? And then some Arab, some Indian dude, you are the Israelites.
Yeah.
So they knew, but none of them said anything, but that they licked our wounds.
Right.
When the scriptures say that, when the dogs lick the wounds, that means what that's referring to is the fact that they lived off our people, off our substance. They set up stores in our neighborhoods and live off our people, but then treat our people like shit.
I was gonna say, and like you said, we couldn't get the loans to open up the stores in our own neighborhoods, but they was giving the loans freely.
Exactly.
Well, they got it. Even the nasty Hamites too.
Right. Exactly.
Them so-called Africans, they came over. They'll get, man, come on. You see Africans on little stores. And,
Orientals.
Oh, of course. But then, let me add to that. Shit. We all lived in the hood, right? You go there, Moab is there with them greasy, poisonous, greasy spoon Chinese restaurants feeding you pork fried rice with chicken wings.
Yeah. I remember Busy had bought something from like a little spot that was up here on the corner. And somehow or another it came out. I think it was about the time that we started seeing how they was taking rats and dipping them in that hot ass oil.
Alive on top of that. It was so, I saw them doing it to cats too.
Right.
It was even worse when they did it to cats.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would scream and then they would like be going to shock.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so painful they would go into shock.
Right.
And then they would go into shock and be like frozen, and they would just rip the skin off of them.
Yeah.
And then they just start hacking them. It was the most cruelest, wicked. I was like, you even doing it to a rat, man.
Yeah.
I don't like rats, but that's
cruel.
That's some cruel shit.
Yeah.
And that's common knowledge. That's common fucking knowledge.
Yeah. If you ever become cool with one of them, to the point where they don't fear the backlash or the judgment that'll come from you, they'll let you know. Like I said, years ago, like around that 11 scenario that jumped off some years back and whatnot, I knew a Filipino cat, and I used to tease him. I'd say, hey man, I want my Rottweiler back, right? I want my Rottweiler dog back, right? He was to say, I can give him back to you, but you ain't gonna be able to use him. He gonna be small and in chunks and stink.
Listen,
damn.
I know it's true.
In other words, I'm gonna eat him up and I'm gonna shit him out. I can give him back to you as shit. But
I had a cop that I knew. This is going back a few years, right? Maybe about 20 years ago. This is my native circles, right? This sister I knew. This native sister I knew, but she was married to this white cop, but she was in our circle when we perform and go out drumming and stuff like that. Her name was Veronica, beautiful, gorgeous. But she was married to this cracker cop dude, right? Whatever. But I mean, this is in New York City, and she would invite us over to her house and cook, and so anyways, me and him was having a conversation one night, right? I don't know how it came up, whatever. And I was like, yeah, we were talking about Moab,
right.
And this is a cop. He goes on calls And somehow that conversation came up. This was me and him talking. You know, people, we all sitting in the room talking, whatever. And I was like,
They running the raid on some shit.
Yeah. Well, he said he got a call, him and his partner, and they went to a Chinese restaurant for whatever reason. And he said, when he went, when I went in, we went in, we went up in the kitchen because we had to, assess what was going on.
Right.
And he said they had something, in them big pots, like you said, a big giant pot with meat was cooking in the pot, right?
Something in the pot.
And he said that shit smelled crazy. He said, it smelled crazy, man. It smelled crazy. And I looked at it, man, my partner, and then they said they asked Moab. Say, hey, man, what's that, man? It smells kind of. And then he said, Moab, oh, no, it's chicken. And then this was this cop, was eating my meat, telling me, he's like,
that don't like no motherfucker.
He said, I ain't never smelled, it looked weird.
Yeah.
Cooking in his pot. He said, I ain't never seen or smelled no chicken smelling like that. But then he said he looked through, cops are wild.
Right.
And he said he looked in the little garbage thing, and he said fur.
Well, no chicken,
like cat fur in the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This dude, this is a Edomite cop that told me this. So he's like, yeah, man, those fuckers, man, they be cooking cats and dogs.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I used to have a Edomite concubine years ago, German chick that lived in actually I think her father was Greek, her mother was German, whichever one. But she lived over there in over there by Sox Park. What do they call that area over there by Sox Park? Bridgeport. She lived in Bridgeport. Bridgeport is known for being, racist, and it's a lot of retired cops and firemen that live in that neighborhood. All right, but nevertheless, now they call it Chinatown Heights,
right?
Because Moab has grown out of Chinatown,
right? Yep.
And they've moved into
that 31st.
And they used to be right, and that's wherever she lives off 31st, and and she's a cat lover. She had a couple cats. And there were stray cats. And there were stray cats in the alley that she always fed every day. All the kids. She knows.
I do that now. When stray cats are feed.
When as the Chinese began to move in, as Moab began to move in, all the cats disappeared. Mm-hmm. She was like, first she was complaining about how loud the Moabites were. They're so loud. They're so nasty, and they it's like the alleys are dirty. Everything's dirty now. She's complaining. This was many years ago.
I got you.
And then she said that all the cats, her cats disappeared. She had a cat that she took care of. I forget the cat's name, but she would come out every morning. The cat would, come from under the porch, come from out of the garage.
Right. Do a meet and greet.
Creature of habit.
Right. And there was a couple other cats, and she would feed them, and then all the cats just disappeared.
Right. Yeah, no, I noticed that years ago. I noticed that years ago, man. Even back in like the early and mid '70s, when I was down, when I used to go back down there, because I knew people, y'all, that was in the projects, because we lived over there in the '60s up to like '71, and like you said, man, my brother would have us walk through there, and that was the one thing you didn't notice. You never saw cats and rats over there in Chinatown. This goes back into the early to mid '70s.
And there were stray animals all over Chicago.
Exactly.
In the '70s.
But
there was plenty of cats running around. You saw the dogs running around, but that was a joke. In Chinatown, you didn't. Because they didn't really start using the animal services, that heavily until like the 90s and the 2000s.
Right.
But in the 70s and 80s, it was stray animals everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right?
Everywhere.
It was always a litter of kittens born, and we have a whole new bunch of little cats running around.
Everywhere.
Right? Stray dogs. But he's saying that in around Chinatown parts.
and that was in the early 70s.
Yeah,
right?
Moab was doing it.
And they had them videos on YouTube going back in the early YouTube days. You saw the videos of them riding by in trucks and grabbing them with nets and stuff.
Yep, snatching them up.
Snatching them up.
Yeah, the
cats and dogs. Yeah. So, but nevertheless, let's get that.
I got you.
That Joel
Oh, you want the Joel? I got
Yeah.
the Isaiah. But okay.
And what one in Isaiah did I call for?
You wanted Isaiah 34.
Oh yeah,
start-
yeah. So
Fine.
you, matter of fact, Bonnie, you get the Joel. You read the Isaiah.
Okay. Want me to do the Isaiah now? I mean the Joel now?
Which one you
Isaiah,
have?
I got the Isaiah 34.
Then you go ahead and read that. He's gonna get the Joel.
Okay, Isaiah 34 starting at 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Adumia and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
Right. So you have what you have to understand, what you have to take into consideration, that the Lord tells you very clearly that He's coming back to rectify what was done wrong, and to address the nations. But He names Esau by name.
Consistent.
He says Idumea, Basra, Dedan, Teman. He doesn't say that about. He doesn't break down. He's coming back for Japhet. He's coming back for Ham. I'm coming back for Mizraim. He names Esau and all the different tribes among Esau.
Right.
Clearly,
Yeah.
they gonna catch the worst of it. Now jump to verse 8.
Okay. Let me go back.
Bottom line, this cracker gotta go.
Okay. Okay. Isaiah 34 and 8. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion.
There it is, man. It's gonna be no more debate who the Israelites are. All right.
Sure.
Even though it's an easy thing to see who they really are, the evidence is beyond, but it's not gonna be a problem or debate any longer. They won't be able to just have cognitive denialism, and when the truth is flashed on the screen, they just turn the page and keep talking. Wait a minute. That page just shows you the Israelites look like Bunyan. Wait,
Right.
hold on. Why'd you they just turn? Oh yeah, so next page, and they just keep going.
Right.
Like they did Richard Pryor in the
God, there is nothing to see here.
He just gonna leave him in here.
Right.
They left him in there.
He found a book of blackness.
He said, man, this is about my people.
Right. Like my uncle.
I'm taking this back to the hood.
He
Jack.
telling everybody.
I'm telling everybody, Jack.
They bagged about his ass and left his ass in them
Left his
too.
ass in there, right.
That's Jake.
There's nothing to see here.
I think the book
Send
is
the
called,
bulldozers.
I think the book is called like the book of life or
God,
something.
that's
Right.
what I thought.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's Esau. All right? That's Esau. So go ahead and go to that Joel, brother.
Hey, you want Joel 3?
Yeah.
All right.
The Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Yes, sir. This the book of Joel, chapter
We
3
gonna wrap unless you got
and
it.
verse
That's it, brother. That's it.
11. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Let the heathen be awakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all heathen round about.
There it is, man. So the Lord is bringing all you nations down to the valley of His decision, Yahweh Shaphat, man.
You see that
Right,
happening
and
now.
He's going, and so all these nations and armies are being drawn there. It's literally happening as we speak.
That's
All right.
man.
And then you're gonna have your Wag the Dog event, which is gonna shut down America. They're already talking about rationing gas. They're talking
Yep.
about forcing people to stay in and stay home and all that shit again.
Yeah.
They're saying that they're gonna make the speed limits all low and ration out gas so no one can. And it's just gonna make moving around just. Imagine you got to go way up to the north side, but you can't drive any faster than 45 or 35 miles per hour.
And that's
be
crazy
fucked
you
up.
say that.
Yeah.
Everybody been driving slow though as of lately. I kid you not.
Well-
Looking like, dang, the gas got people really driving slow. You
Yeah.
can see it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Speak for them.
Pops ain't gonna never drive slow.
I'm like, this
He don't
gas
care if
really
it's $30 a
affecting
gallon.
Certain people need to drive slow.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, those sort of restrictions and oppression is coming, and then that's going to bring in the MOTB. And once they do that, then the arrows are going to start flying from one end of the earth to the other. And almost all the nations of the world are going to point their arrows at Babylon and the people over there. It is not real.
Mm.
All right, that's what's about to happen.
That's it.
All right.
That's gonna be a glorious day.
A glorious day. Hey, so with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakodash,
Kwam Yasharala,
Kwam Yasharala,
Bob Ball.
Abba, Abba.
Man. Death to America.